So, hi everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Um, Today I want to talk about a concept that hopefully will be helpful to many of our listeners. I was recently asked to serve on a career panel for clinician scientists, and one of the topics that came up was what was one of the biggest challenges that you faced during your career path. And I think for me, the biggest challenge has been the kind of changes in failure rates that you learn to deal with when transitioning from kind of an undergraduate, postgraduate trainee into an independent investigator, an independent clinical practitioner. And hopefully I can summarize this transition in two images, and hopefully it'll be helpful to those listening going through similar experience in how to deal with it and really how to embrace failure, because I think it's critical when you get to the later stages of your career and early stages of your independent career. And so I think we see this photo here. It's two acrobats carrying out a very dangerous tasks, but I think what we know is that despite this looking very dangerous, they've prepared sufficiently well, where if we were to try to predict how many times they would succeed in doing this specific task, we know that thankfully they're going to succeed the vast majority, if not every single time they do this in their career on a kind of performance level stage. Obviously, nothing's 100%, but we hope for their safety's sake that none of them have to experience any failure. And this is what I think undergraduate is like. We're trained to know that when we do an exam, the ideal mark is 100%. We want to be able to regurgitate the information that we learned in an almost carbon copy way, and that's really the goal of I think of these non-graduate, non-innovative stages of your career, where it's important to know the intricacies of the Krebs cycle. It's important to know a differential diagnosis for a specific symptom. And again, the expectation here is that it's a knowledge assimilation task. And the more you know it, the better you know it, the better you're going to be able to perform in the real world. And I think for most successful people, this is a kind of a positive feedback loop where once you become very good at succeeding in these tests, you tend to repeat it over and over again until you kind of reach those final stages of your training career. What I noticed, at least, that came to a big shock is that when you start your independent career, your failure rate increases substantially. You go from getting 19 or 18 out of 20 questions on an exam right to maybe getting 25 to 30% of any kind of research proposal you submit accepted. Maybe some of your manuscripts are rejected by multiple journals before they find a home. And this kind of shock was one that I had very much trouble dealing with, because for the vast majority of my training, I learned to understand that if I prepare correctly, then the result should be very predictable. And I think that's the key thing to understand, is that once you enter the workforce and you have a kind of innovative job, whether that be as a scientist trying to progress knowledge, whether it be as a clinical practitioner, where many cases that come to your office may not be the standard textbook examples due to a number of biological, social, cultural reasons that make those cases challenging. An entrepreneur, any real world scenario, you tend to start to see that it's much more challenging. And the best analogy I've heard from my mentors is that at these later stages, at these independent stages, superstars are really like baseball players, where even the best to have ever done it only succeeds only a handful of times. So here's Babe Ruth. His batting average was .342, which means that he's failing 2 more times than he's succeeding. Imagine you're the best at what you do, and you still, the vast majority of times you do that, you fail. That's pretty a profound statement if you think about it. And I think the reason why I want to highlight this simple comparison, transitioning from an acrobat who's expected to do something perfect for the vast majority of their career, to someone who in a less controlled environment may only succeed a handful of times. I think understanding that that's normal, or at least something that I've experienced and many of my mentors experience, will hopefully provide some reassurance that it's not something that you're doing wrong or something that is wrong with you, but it's just part of the this transition in stages of your training and career. The other reason I think this is important to understand this concept is that failure is success. If you're playing baseball and you say, Phidias, I bat 90% when I play baseball at the local club. What that should tell you is that you're not playing baseball to the best of your capabilities. So if you're outperforming these very low success rates, it probably means that you should go up a level. So if you're playing in the C League, maybe you should try playing in the B League. And if you're in the B League, you should try to play in an A League, and so on and so forth. You need to use failure as a barometer of how far you're pushing yourself. If you are in these types of scenarios and you're not failing, it means that you're not trying to the level that you're capable of. If you are succeeding in every experiment you're doing in graduate school or as a scientist, it means that either you're really good, but I think for most people, it means that you're not asking enough difficult questions that could transform the way we think of a specific topic that's challenging, whether it be how to address cancer, how to address certain difficult, challenging cases in our clinical practice. If you're not failing, it means that you're not thinking about the problem sufficiently to either provide the best possible care you can. Maybe you're missing specific rare diagnoses, or in research, maybe you're just not trying to answer a question that's going to have a transformative impact. So, I think that's something that I've really kind of tried to think about when I look at my career and my progress, and try to put it into perspective. Now, do I like failing? Absolutely not. It hurts every single time, but is it important and is it an essential part of becoming a better scientist and a better person? Of course. So if you are failing, think about these concepts, see how they apply to you, and hopefully that's a helpful information that I can pass on from my mentors to you. And if you like this kind of content, please leave us a comment below. We'll try to make more. And again, thank you for your time and listening. Have a great day. Bye.